Hey, this is Sam Taggart with D2D. Just out here kicking it in my
Okay,
hammock.
first off, this was under my deck in my hammock. I mean, it has 23,000 views. And I'm literally just chilling, and that was like my rest spot. And the OG first long hair Sam, except I couldn't grow facial hair this time.
Think and meditate, and a lot of the thought braining comes, like all the brainstorming comes from this. So if you're watching this, about to drop some nuggets on a perfect door approach outline.
7 years ago. This is crazy.
Oftentimes we're trying to figure out, okay, how do I craft my pitch? How do I make sure that I hit the right points? How do I make sure that I am saying the right things? You know, we get all nervous.
You know what's funny? Is I wonder if I'm better or worse now. Because I was closer to more consistent door knocking back then, but now I've actually trained and studied it in a much higher frequency. So I'm wondering if I'll actually agree or disagree, or if it's neutral.
This outline will work in solar, satellite, pest control, roofing, whatever you're selling, this outline will work. So basically what I start with, and if you're watching this, just make sure that you follow each step, because if you skip a step, all the other steps are negated. So the first step of a door approach is you have break your preoccupation. Now, what that means is you kind of pattern interrupt. You change how they're thinking, because you got to put yourself in their shoes. They're like, who's this stranger that's knocking on my door? Who's this guy that came unexpected? I'm eating dinner, whatever. And so you got to do something that throws them out of their comfort zone, like, and just asking them good questions, saying something that's totally random. You know, a lot of people know me as riding the scooter. I'm the scooter kid. And you know, not everybody's going to go out and ride scooters, but at the end of the day, I use it to my advantage. I go, hey, like my ride? And they're like, what? Oh, I thought that was my kids. And then they're like thinking about scooters, and they're thinking about their kids. They're not thinking about the football game. They're just watching. So making sure that you have a solid pattern interrupt right at the beginning. In your first 30 seconds, you got to catch their attention. So I'd listen to the podcast first 30 seconds on DDD. And that'll help you really master those first 30 seconds.
So it's interesting. I've actually gone even deeper than that. So like the real first step, I built a whole Venn diagram. It's right here in our sales playbook. So check this out. So you have like hook, qualify, pattern interrupt, bandwagon, 8 Mile, and like introduce who you are. So all of that concept actually plays into that step one. So not to like, you know, this is like, to not dilute this, but like there's a much bigger training that goes into step one that we've identified now.
Those first 30 seconds. And in that first 30 seconds, you really introduce who you are.
Okay,
because a lot of times we forget, like, okay, I'm Sam, I'm with X company. And we just kind of like start rambling on, and they're like, wait, who are you? And it's okay to like say who you're with, what company you're with. Sometimes you might hold your cards to letting them know what the product is, and that's just being strategic based on the area. Now, the second thing is what you're doing.
So on that note, we have said the same thing 100 times that day. So we have what's called the curse of knowledge. And so we're actually kind of catering all of our pitches and decision-making skills based on our previous experiences that day, or maybe that week. What you have to forget is all of that. And remember, this is their first interaction with us. So instead of killing that opportunity, I have to like goldfish mentality start over every time.
Really where you would go into what you're doing. And in the DD University, we're going to really talk about like the super ins and outs of this, but I'm just going to give you the overview. So the what you're doing has to be almost like your thesis statement. A lot of people call it a pre-frame. And so you kind of just set up like it's almost like a pre-close right at the beginning. So you're like, okay, what I'm doing is I'm helping a few people out in your neighborhood do this, Y, Z. Or, hey, you've probably seen the trucks, or you've probably seen with your neighbors. Have you seen me kind of in and out of your neighbors? So what we've been doing is X, Y, Z. And so a good what, you know, a lot of people use marketing. A lot of people use, you know, just earning your business or fundraiser or getting the word out or whatever. You have a powerful like what and then why you're doing it. Because a lot of people don't understand like explaining and justifying why we're doing what we're doing. So making sure that you...
So step 2 to clarify is what are you doing? And I call it an intention statement. My intention is, my goal today is, what I'm doing out here is, those kind of things help hook them and give clarity of like, what the freak. So a lot of times the mistake is you'll go in and you'll just be like, oh, I like your flowers. Hey, did you hear about Susie? And they're just like, what is it? Like, what are you doing? So it's just like simply, hey, I'm the bug guy, or hey, I'm X. My intention today is make sure we get you guys taken care of, or whatever that thing is, so that way they're like, oh, he's selling something, or oh, in its own roundabout way.
Set up like, okay, so here's what I'm doing, and this is why I'm doing it.
Which that's where if you can switch to the why super fast, it's important.
Really explain what's in it for them and what's in it for you. So if you're good at saying, okay, so why I'm doing this is we found you benefit by saving money, you benefit by, getting a new thing or upgrading or all the benefits, and then you have to, for sure, this is the piece where everybody misses it, you have to explain what's in it for you. So when you explain what's in it for you, it kind of takes the whole, this sounds too good to be true, what's the catch, out of the what's in it for them. So it's a way to just be like, well, obviously I get something from this. So by saying like, oh, well, we get kind of marketing, or we get a new customer, and I get to go on a trip to Hawaii, and I get blah, 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 I reach my goal, or I get a sign out, or whatever your what's in it for you has to be justifying why you're giving them such a good deal, or what's in it for them. Then the fourth step is the pullback.
So I call this in my book, ABCs of Closing. I knocked on your door, I came to you, you didn't call me. So it's kind of like, what's in it for you? I got to earn your business, or I got to bribe you to do this, or I got to make it make sense. But also I wouldn't be wasting my time and energy if it didn't make sense for us. One of my favorite lines that we teach in D2D University in the solar side is Ty Bashan goes out to California and he's like, we're going to make a killing on you. And he like straight up says that. He's like, we're going to make a killing on you. But why I can confidently say that is the utility company is just robbing you. And so like, he brings in like why this makes sense for us to do this is he's like, you're paying them X amount for the rest of the forever on this house. Do the math. So it's helping them because they don't want to have the catch. They want to get taken advantage of. So the authenticity is going to bring real clarity of why they want to continue on with their conversation. Now I'm moving into the pullback.
So you basically pull back and you say, okay, so not everybody's a good fit. We want to make sure we give it to the right people. We got to see if your thing qualifies, if you qualify, or whatever your pullback is. My favorite go-to is, if it works for you, great. If it doesn't, not a big deal. And then I transition into the home, or I transition into my product, or I transition to setting the appointment, or whatever it is. And that's the last step. So a lot of times people are like, oh, did that work? And they forget. They're waiting for some type of approval from their customer to be like, oh, yeah, I'm interested. Don't wait for that. Just pull back, assume the pullback worked, and then transition. So these are the simple 5 steps to your door approach.
So why people pull back is lack of confidence, or why they don't, is because they're afraid if I were to pull back, then I might not get the deal, when the opposite is true. And having the real confidence to say, I will walk away if it doesn't make sense, will create a insecurity in the customer, because whoever has more confidence in a room, you're the best looking dude, and all of a sudden a better dude looking comes in, you're like, oh, I'm insecure now. But you were until then the secure one in the room, or whatever that is in your world. So it's like, how do you find the highest level of security? And that comes through being detached. Where most people lose it is the transition. Is we go through all the 4 steps and then we just don't ask for the sale. Meaning, can I come in? Hey, is it cool if I just get some basic info? Whatever your transition is. And it's funny, nothing's changed. Those are still my 5 steps I teach. This was 7 years ago. I used it for 10 years plus prior to that. And it is taught now millions and millions of dollars worth of commissions, helping thousands of sales professionals under that same framework. I promise it works no matter the product. Now we've helped, since then, I didn't even know permanent lighting, window washing, gutter guards, and all the other industries that we've now helped would all benefit from a similar model that we've now implemented into those. If you got value out of this video, love you to hit subscribe and leave some comments or questions, and we'd love to respond back to you.